This is 14b of the 2015 paper 2. We looked at 14a in the last video. Now this is 4 marks and it's asking you to calculate x, the width, to 1 decimal place. Now usually in exams, if you're given sections A, B, C, so on, then you look at the information you obtained in the last question or the last section of the question, and you think to yourself, is this information that I worked out, is it relevant? Because there's a big chance it will be. So it's 4 marks and we have to calculate x. But we already derived that x is governed by this equation. The equation 4x squared plus 44x minus 153 equals 0. So we already know that x is governed by this equation. We have to then solve to find x. There's 2 methods to solve a quadratic equation. You can factorize or you can use the quadratic formula which is given at the front of the exam. Now it's in a calculator exam and we're told to give the answer correct to 1 decimal place. So the high likelihood is it cannot be factorized and you have to use the formula given at the front of the exam. So the formula sheet, we have this one. This is the quadratic formula. It's this one. So we have to obtain the values of A, B and C. Now the form is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And you simply have to compare coefficients, the number in front of the x or the x squared term. So if you have a look here, and this one, remember minus 153 is the same as plus minus 153. So we have 4x squared, we have 44x, and we're adding on minus 153. So we can say that A is 4. So A equals 4. B is 44. And C is minus 153. We then have to plug our values into this here. So we have x equals minus b plus minus. Be careful of how you copy this down. The discriminant b squared take away 4ac goes inside the square root, so it has to all go inside. You have the plus and the minus, and this line goes over the entirety of that, and 2a. So we substitute the values in, so we have minus 44. Be really careful of your positives and your negatives. This can cost a lot of marks. That's 44 squared. Take away 4 times 4 times minus 153 all over 2 times 4. So 2 times 8a's force, that would be 8. Next, we're going to evaluate the discriminant. So this is the one, or the number embedded in the square root sign. We're not going to evaluate the square root at the minute, but make sure you realise you've got 2 negatives here, and 2 negatives being multiplied will give you a positive. So please watch out for this one. So that would be 4 times 4 times 153, add 44 squared, gives you 4,384. All divided by 8. So we then have to take the positive and the negative, which give us 2 different solutions. So the first of those solutions, if we take the positive of the square root, is 2.77647. And the second of those, you plug this into the scientific calculator and you get minus 13.77647. You've got 2 solutions, but the question asks for the x, which can only take, the width can only take one value. The common sense would dictate that you can't have a negative width, so we have to discard the negative solution. So we discard. So we're going to discard minus 13.77647. And we say that the width of the border, so the width of the border is 2.77647 centimeters, or to 1 decimal place that's going to be 2.8, because the question asks you to round it to 1 decimal place. So we say to 1 dp. Now let's have a look at how the SQA would mark this question. The first mark is substituting into the formula. The second mark would be for evaluating the discriminant, i.e. this number. The third mark would be for getting the 2 solutions. And the last mark would be for knowing to discard the negative and choosing the correct one and getting it to 1 decimal place. And if you showed no working, you would lose all of the marks, because the question is assessing your ability to use the quadratic formula. So I hope you found this video useful. I'll show you this one last time. And best of luck with the studying. Thank you for watching.